Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cardiology Lectures. I am Dr. Nick Nickham, and today we're going to learn something about magnesium, the basic element magnesium. So let's begin. Magnesium is an important element in the body which involves practically every metabolic system. It is essential for bone growth and strength. It is fascinating to know that magnesium is a cofactor in more than 300 enzymes involved in maintaining the body's metabolism. Most importantly, magnesium is involved in the production and utilization of ATP, which is the energy currency in the body, which transports energy in the form of phosphate bonds. Contraction and relaxation of the muscles is regulated by magnesium along with calcium, not only in the skeletal muscles but also in the smooth muscles in the intestines and also in the heart muscles. Magnesium is also involved in learning and memory, and as I mentioned earlier, magnesium is involved in the basic action potential of the myocardial cells, where it helps in transporting calcium and potassium across the myocardial cell membranes. Magnesium is also involved in a number of biochemical reactions. It increases gastric motility. It may improve blood pressure. It has also been shown to improve carbohydrate metabolism and reduce blood sugar levels. So magnesium has a lot of potential benefits in the body. Here is how a raw magnesium looks, pretty much like silver crystals. Our body contains about 25 grams of magnesium, of which 50 to 60% is in the bones. The normal magnesium level is 0.75 to 0.95 millimoles per deciliter. Kidneys excrete 120 milligrams of magnesium per day. If there is excess magnesium in the body, the kidneys are the primary source of elimination of this excess magnesium. The serum magnesium level may not be a true reflection of what the magnesium level is at the cellular level, because the magnesium is active only at the cellular and at the mitochondrial levels, where it is involved with more than 300 enzymes. It is best to measure the magnesium levels in the red blood cells. As we get older, we need more magnesium. A person who is 50 years or older will need 400 milligrams of magnesium per day. Most of our dietary intake with natural foods should be able to provide this amount of magnesium. However, if the magnesium levels are low, supplemental magnesium may be necessary. Here are some of the things that we can expect with low magnesium level. As I told you, magnesium is involved in majority of metabolic functions all the way from the brain to the toes. It is not uncommon to see low levels of magnesium associated with anxiety, cardiac arrhythmias, asthma, depression, diabetes, fibromyalgia, hypertension, migraines, muscle cramps and twitches, muscle weakness, osteoporosis, panic attacks, phobia, fatigue, and a whole bunch of other things. If you remember that magnesium sulfate is used for bringing blood pressure down in pregnant women, and that is why low magnesium can cause hypertension. On the other hand, taking magnesium supplements may improve the blood pressure by anywhere from 2 to 5 millimeters of diastolic blood pressure. On the other hand, excess magnesium can come from dietary sources, laxatives or antacids. Milk of magnesia has 700 milligrams of magnesium oxide per tablespoon. If you were to take 3 to 4 tablespoons of magnesium oxide, you could be getting well over 2000 milligrams of magnesium. The predominant symptoms of magnesium toxicity that you can feel immediately are related to gastrointestinal tracts, namely abdominal cramps and diarrhea. If you are having abdominal cramps and diarrhea, that is an indication that you are getting excess magnesium through your dietary or supplemental sources. Another indication that you are getting too much magnesium is a significant drop in the blood pressure. Sources of magnesium. Here is a chart showing the sources of magnesium, most important of which are nuts and seeds, as you can see here, along with fruits and vegetables, especially banana, broccoli, and fruits. Supplemental magnesium comes in many different forms and they all serve different purposes. For example, magnesium citrate and magnesium malate are very well absorbed through the gastrointestinal tract, and they are useful in patients who have low magnesium levels or patients who manifest with symptoms of low magnesium. Magnesium lactate restores red blood cell magnesium levels, whereas magnesium taurate and glycinate cause less GI upset. If you are trying to use magnesium as a laxative, magnesium oxide is the choice, which increases gastric motility. Magnesium spray or lotion can be used for local muscle soreness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a quick review of magnesium, its role in the body, and how you identify low or high magnesium levels. Thank you so much for watching, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we have more than 100 videos on cardiology topics. You are welcome to watch those, and please do recommend your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time. I am Dr. Nick Nickam.